life who have sort of followed along with what I'm doing. Friends from college, friends from summer camp, people I've known for a really long time. Thank you to Ellen, my host mom in Princeton.
And all of our friends at the New York Athletic Club. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you so much. We appreciate all your messages.
And your support.
I would say all of the coaches at the University of Michigan were just like incredible mentors. Karen Smite, Emily Ford, Mark Rothstein, all of them just really instilled like the love of rowing and the love of like sport and competition and like working together as a team.
Yeah, I think everyone in my family has been super supportive. Mom, dad, my grandparents, my siblings. They know I've had to sacrifice the time to be out here, but I mean, they've understood that. And then, I mean, other role models, I went to high school in Sarasota, and then I did my freshman year at Harvard, and there's, great people to look up to there. There's people, from Sarasota who've succeeded at every level of rowing, and obviously at Harvard as well. So I feel like I've been lucky to be in two programs where there's been people where I can, try to model myself after.
My parents have been huge in getting me to this point. Like, couldn't have done it without them. My dad was kind of the one who suggested I start rowing, and my mom, just nothing but unwavering support from her. And through the highs and lows of, what it is to be an athlete. At Cornell, I had a great coaching staff, but mainly like the guys that I were with really just kind of kept me steady and pushed me to the point where I'm at. And, I can't be more grateful for the teammates that I had along the way.
I was born in Ireland, and my mom kind of brought us over here. She's been kind of a superwoman, superhero.
Both my parents drove me to every practice, every race. Both just gave me so much growing up.
Kevin was the one that talked me into coming back to train for Tokyo, and so yeah, I owe a lot of my success to UVA and Kevin Sauer.
Laurel kind of gave me some great advice, and she said, okay, well, just get back on the erg and see if you miss it in 4 weeks once you've been kind of erging by yourself and grinding away and doing the not so glamorous parts of it. And I was like, okay, that's a great idea. I did that and still continued to miss it, and so I was like, I think I want to try and do this again.
Kind of within the sport, I think both my high school coach Louis Zubek and then my college coach Charlie Butt, I think were pretty influential in both pushing me, but also just making me a better rower technically. And then a lot of my college teammates and high school teammates who were driving factors and making me want to compete and work harder. And then also just my parents for supporting me through kind of this whole thing. They've been awesome. So those are people who I feel the most gratitude towards.
Similar vein as Liam, it's the teammates and the people in the sport have really inspired me to continue going. And when you've had my darkest times, you lean on your teammates, and those guys get you through. And I've had the benefit of rowing with Liam since his freshman year of 2016, I believe. And it's really the guys who get you through. During our development in college, we had our head coach Charlie Butt, who really has gotten us to think about the stroke in the same way. So that's pretty important, and has helped us have success over the last couple of years.
Back into this boat has been amazing, and I'm so proud of the people I get to row with. They're great role models, and then we started out with Allie on our first Olympics. It was really cool. We have a mixture of the veterans and then the newbies, so a lot of great role models.
It's a fun boat. I think it's such a great mix of experience and youth, but excitement. You have Ellen, 3-time Olympian, obviously 2 for me, and then having people in the boat being their first time, I kind of liken it to, it's like Christmas morning, and you get to live the excitement of that, through your kids. They're not my kids, but it makes it really fun.
Yeah, it's like Ben said, we have a great group of guys, and it's pretty unbelievable. And just thinking about, personally where I came from, and being surrounded by such fantastic athletes like him and everyone else in the 8 and the 4, it's pretty surreal, and I'm just going to try to enjoy every moment of it.
Absolutely. My parents have always been extremely supportive, and I was lucky in high school to have some supportive coaches, both in rowing but also in basketball and other sports, who I think all taught me something that ultimately helped me today. And then got lucky with some great coaches in the U.S. rowing system at the junior college levels, and college coaches as well.
well, so it's really a team effort.
My uncle also rode in the boat race for Cambridge, so he was sort of the influence that got my brother into it. I've also had great coaches in my life, so they're definitely very helpful.
And of course, calling our parents was really amazing because they're very proud of us. It was really nice for me to call my coaches, especially my first college coaches. My first walk-on coach, Colleen, just getting to tell her was really exciting. Sam, Emerson, Ramsey, like they've all done so much to help me get here. And I just get to thank them for helping me on my journey.
A lot of people, starting with my family, who introduced me to the sport and then have supported me every step of the way. And then my dad was my high school coach, so he certainly, got me on my feet in the sport. In college, rowing under Charlie Butt and Billy Boyce and Jesse Folia and Pat LePage, they all really helped me sort of develop to be able to, make it out here. And then Tim and Mike have really helped me, along with sort of some guest coaches from Chris Korzanowski in 2018. Those are really all the big people that I'd like to thank for getting me to where I am now.
My parents, my brother, who pretty early on sort of let me know, what the next level would be at each point in the sport. Never sort of felt complacent. I always knew what was next, what it took to get to the next level. And then my high school coaches, the Kanopkas, Molly and Bruce, they're great people, very tough. So I think they taught me early on to be, what it takes in the sport, just being mentally tough. And Rob Meyer, who's also a Belmont Hill guy. He's my coach in high school as well. Great guy and really taught me like the technical parts of the sport early on. And then my college coaches, Greg Hughes and Matt Smith, who took a fairly raw high school athlete and kind of helped develop me over those 4 years. And then finally, Tim, Mike, and Chris Korzanowski, who again helped me get to that next level. Just probably took a lot of work. I was pretty rough when I came out here, so definitely owe them a lot.
I went and called my dad because my dad was the first person. I was 8 and we were watching I don't know which Winter Olympics, but he was like, you could do this if you wanted to. And I was like, okay, Dad, And he had texted me that morning and he's like, I hope you know I love you and I'm so proud of you. And no matter what happens today, you are, my kid and I love you. And so I called him and I was like, it's real!
I would love to one-up my dad and get a gold medal because growing up, I would try to beat him at athletic things or I'd always compete with him. He goes, well, when you have a silver medal, you can come talk to me. And so I just want to be like, well, here's a gold one.
So my coach, Craig Hoffman at the time in high school, was a coxswain at Syracuse and said, hey, why don't you try to kind of transfer over and be a coxswain at one of these programs? I didn't really want to do it at first because I was like, oh no, I'm a rower, I'm going to row. And then kind of seeing Cal coming out here visiting, I fell in love with the program and I thought if that's my step in the door, if that's my foot into the program, then 100% I'll take a chance and kind of transition over to this new role.
Had this big desire to compete at the Olympics, which is the pinnacle of all sporting events. There's no universe games, it's just this is the best of the best, and I'm just so grateful that the coaches are giving me this opportunity to be a part of this Olympic team, and I'm excited.
I'm really lucky to be a part of this because it's 4 really great people and rowers, and everyone is hysterical. So I think there's a great vibe and energy, and everyone's focused on speed and is a true racer and competitor in this boat. So I feel really lucky to get to go second time around with this group.